The RPT-31 is currently the best weapon in Battlefield 2042, and this is the setup I would recommend. Starting up a sight, it's really up to you, but this is the one I've got. I got the K8 Hollow, followed by the T4 Thermal 2.5 times. Onto the magazines, we've got the high powered extended and the standard issue. Under barrel, we're running the STNR laser sight, and for the barrel, I really only recommend running the shortened barrel, as it brings the fire rate of this weapon from 690 to 780, and it makes it an absolute beast on the battlefield because of that. So that's the setup I'd recommend using for the RPT-31. As DICE has recently buffed it, it's now the best LMG to use in Battlefield 2042, and by running the high powered magazine and the shortened barrel, it makes it a deadly combo due to it now only taking 4 bullets to kill an enemy up to 30 meters away. Coupled with the increased rate of fire from equipping the shortened barrel, it makes this weapon an incredibly good choice to use on the battlefield. So this weapon is unlocked during Season 4 by achieving the Battle Pass rank of 22. However, if you're watching this after the season, if you go to the Collection tab and hover over the RPT-31, it should tell you how to unlock this weapon. Now, I briefly talked about my setup, but I do want to cover it in a bit more detail just to help you understand it all. So for the sights, like I said, it is really up to you, but I do recommend using T4 Thermal 2.5 times, as it does help you sort of be able to spot enemies out from the background, whether it's from a distance or with inside buildings, as it kind of helps us kind of, change the sight to a black and white, so the enemy's outlined in like a white sort of outline, and you can just easily spot them out. Now the K8 Hollow is my personal preference for like the red dot sights, but I have seen a lot of people using that Fusion Hollow, but really it is up to you. But for sights, I do recommend that T4 Thermal. Now magazines, the high powered extended just is what really makes this weapon so beefy. It does sort of hinder the rate of fire compared to the standard issue, but not by much, and it absolutely makes up for it for the punch it packs. Next up, like I said, standard issue does help increase the rate of fire of this weapon. So if you want to get some more bullets down range, you can equip the standard issue. And then armor piercings there, just so I can harass the enemy helicopters and light vehicles, because sometimes you do get in that spot where there's like a jeep sat on the hill or there's a helicopter constantly flying over. Just by having the armor piercing there, you can just spray a bit of bullets into them, just be a bit of a nuisance. You can also run the AA Stinger as an engineer, so you can get a shot off or two, do quite a bit of damage, and if it's flying away and is low on health, just quickly swap to this weapon and just absolutely rinse it with the armor piercing rounds, and you should either do a lot more damage, it has to repair longer, or you can even take it out. For the underbarrel, like I said, STNR laser sight helps with the hip fire, just makes it an absolutely deadly weapon in that close range. BCG light grip helps with that aim down sight accuracy. Sometimes I use this if there's an enemy sort of like a bit far away and I just want that bit more accuracy, I'll equip it. But it's quite good on its own without this grip, so it is one of those. And then the ADR bipod, it's just there if I want to have that stability to be able to just fully unload like 200 bullets down range, and I just want to be able to spray or keep a lot of enemies suppressed. And when like a really good head glitch or a really good position that I want to kind of hold down, then I do sometimes run the bipod. As for barrels, we've got the shortened barrel. It's the one that I recommend the most, as it does help increase that rate of fire, and it's really the only one you should be using. And then we've got the Warhawk compensator and the tactical compensator. You don't really need to use those, but I've just got them there just in case. But I never use them at all, and I've just always used the shortened barrel just because it's such a good attachment for this weapon. But that's it for this video. What are your thoughts on the RPT-31? What do you think of it? Should I change my setup at all? What setup are you using? I always like to try other people's setup just to kind of get a feel for it and see what other people are using. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. Also, please subscribe, as we're trying to achieve 1,000 subscribers by July 31st, so that will really help us out. And yeah, until the next one, have a good one.